All right. It is time for the final deciding match of the evening. It's Group D. MaxPax in the bottom left side up against Dong-Regu, the DRG. The aggressive Zerg player, the Lairtech master in the top right. Representing Team Envy. MaxPax, of course, repping Psystorm Gaming. Both of these players very solid. But MaxPax appears to be sending this probe across exceptionally early. Wants to get that block down. Now, DRG made a mistake in one of his previous games where he didn't notice the probe coming in. Turned around, went back, found a probe blocking it, and was like kind of confused. This time, perfect timing on that 17 hatch. Obviously, when you are blocked like that, it is a 17 hatch rather than a 16 hatch, so not as clean, but still much better than having the 1 minute hatchery that goes down 6, 7, 8 seconds later. Probe is doing a bit of blocking micro here from MaxPax, and MaxPax, he's very good in PvZ, but I wonder how he matches up against DRG. DRG likes to shove on Lairtech. He really likes to just try and kill you with his Ravager Ling Bane. He had a very close series with Classic where it felt like Classic was kind of getting the better of him with the openings, but finishing off a surly Zerg player that has survived for so many years in the absolutely brutal Korean pro scene like DRG. It's very hard to finish him off. I wonder if MaxPax is going to, like Classic, try and shove in the mid game after defending an attack, or will MaxPax just do some of that old school carrier arc on late game that he's known for? Got the Cybercore coming up. Second pylon as well. Overlord will start floating in here. See that everything is completely normal on the Protoss side of the map. And this probe is still making a nuisance of himself. Finally accidentally mines 5 minerals, but the spawning pool's already done. Zerglings will be here any second now, so he's happy to back off. Did he confirm the third hatchery location? Nope. Some people will go over to the edge and spot it from the high ground. He's just going to go over there now. First Adept getting chrono boosted. Interestingly, that is a Warp Gate research. We're going to see a Glaive Adept opening, or at least a Twilight opening. Could be Dark Templar. MaxPax is really good at those, and unlike players who really double down on the Adepts, more often than not, MaxPax uses it as a transition, but sometimes it feels like he almost accidentally kills his opponent. Zerglings running straight in behind this. The Stalker's getting chronoed, so a double chrono on these units for MaxPax, but the Lings are going to have a free pass into that base. A Baneling Nest is going down behind it. Oh, this is so effective on this map. So many players have been doing this recently. The Adept is shading past. Oh, he doesn't quite get a drone, but gets on the high ground. And look at that, gets a drone from there. Very nicely done. The Zergling does get cleaned up. No probes went down, but 2 drones falling. Ooh, that's really nicely done by MaxPax. The problem, of course, is if he doesn't realize that he's being all-in. And if he pulls the Stalker out of the wall, he will die. This is a very frustrating build to be facing off against. He sees not that many drones on this base as well. I think MaxPax is starting to realize what's up. Oh, yes, he is. DRG. I don't know why he didn't have any Zerglings out here, but I think he was trying so hard to not show Zerglings being built that he actually gave away what he was doing. If he just had 2 or 4 Zerglings there to deal with that Adept, he could have done it. Instead, MaxPax already has a pylon on the wall. That's going to take 5 Banelings to kill. He's not built any other defense just yet. He's trying to make a DT shrine. Stalker sees a lot of Zerglings. I mean, yeah, he's got to re-wall this for sure. Battery goes up. He should build a gateway there. Otherwise, he's going to get busted. MaxPax, wake up, buddy. Wake up. You got to wall off. The probe is the weak point. He thought it was just a Ling Flood. He didn't realize it was a Baneling bust. Oh, no. MaxPax in trouble. Completely misreading this. Oh no, we were talking to Rainer about this build just the other day. He said Protoss players forget that this exists. They just forget the Baneling Bust is a thing. And we see it here. MaxPax completely not expecting that. He thought he was just getting Ling flooded. Oh, unfortunate there for MaxPax. DRG wiping the floor with him with a nasty all-in that we've seen many times recently on this map. Great game 1. Much like Rainer in GSL, MaxPax is finding his life on the line up against Dong-Regu. He's in the top right side, repping Psystorm, and he's going to have to bring out his A-game here. He scouted that there was an all-in coming. He saw very few drones on the base. He knew there was Max Ling coming, but he just didn't think a Baneling bust was what was coming out. DRG, though, takes a big gamble. Honestly, I don't think he thought that was going to win, but he got a bit lucky there, and it kind of came out despite the opening looking very promising for his opponent. MaxPax going to be going for the low ground gate. He's also once again going to block the natural. DRG going to 17 supply. before the probe even comes in. What? Wait. Does DRG want to play 17 hatch? Old school, baby. For those, okay, so for those who don't know, people prefer 16 hatch because you get your pool done. Your queens can both start at the same time because your hatchery finishes early, so you're not supply blocked at all. You can delay your overlord, and you can then get your ejects going faster. Your queens are for earlier. Your lings can go scout faster. Most people think it's just a better opening. Now, the advantage of 17, 17, 17, or 17, 18, 17 is you always have 16 workers on minerals. So you're getting a bit more minerals with this version of the build, but it does delay the queen production and things like that. So this is an older opening. This is what we did for the first few years of Legacy of the Void. After about a year or two, maybe, yeah, probably 2 years, basically every Zerg had swapped to thinking 16 hatchery was better. But interesting that DRG disagrees. It's such a minor detail. It's not like it makes the biggest of differences. But he's not building an Overlord, so he's still going to wait for the hatchery to finish. So it does delay both queens by about 4 seconds, I think. Yeah, because it should be starting on 52 seconds rather than 48, the hatchery. And yeah, the queens are definitely slightly later. MaxPax right now. Let's go to his vision. Looks like he will be getting an Adept, no Warp Gate, and expect him to place a Stargate in that main base any moment now, guys. Apparently we're not on his vision, sorry. Now we're on his camera. His probe scout goes home, sees some Zerglings coming out. He might be a little paranoid after that last game. And this time there are 6 Zerglings coming out. 2 for the scout and 4 for the defense. Stargate going up for MaxPax behind it. And he's actually going to chrono a second Adept across the map. A great way to stay safe versus aggressive builds is just to get Adepts across the map as hard and fast as possible. You can see MaxPax looking to hunt those Zerglings down. They promptly return home. Second Adept's going out the left side. He's really trying to deny the scouting is MaxPax, but not getting any picks. Shades into the main base. I don't think you can hit the workers from the top. I think from down there you can hit those mineral patches. But he's taking a fair bit of damage now, so the Adept down below 50 life is going to have to get out of there. He's stopping drones mainarding out of the main base and goes after a drone there. Oh, quick Spore Trick. DRG with those fast hands. He saves both drones and he says, get out of here, silly Danish boy. That's exactly what he said, Pig. You definitely can read his mind for sure. One Adept died as well, so this is actually a perfect hold so far by DRG. He stopped the aggression in its tracks, and there is a lower probe count than normal because MaxPax committed pretty hard to that. He only forced 6 Zerglings as well, so DRG is playing really greedy. He's got spores on the way now to be nice and safe in the follow-up. He's holding that drone key down. Spectacular early game for the Zerg player from Korea. Showing that class, man. I feel like this has always been DRG's thing, even with his second rise to prominence in the last few years. It's his ability to have a very clean, detail-oriented early game, and if he gets even a small lead, he becomes so scary with those mid-game attacks. He will swarm over the top of you. Second gateway goes up in the main. Actually, is that third? No, he did do the pylon wall off. So he's got a third gateway and a Twilight and a Forge going. Oh, so a second gateway and a Twilight and a Forge, I should say. Ooh, only gets one drone, dude. One drone, and one of his oracles is in the orange. He's lost an Adept. This is sick play by DRG. On the other hand, DRG is playing respectfully now, so he's got some Zerglings, he's got a heavy queen count. It's not like he's infinitely ahead on the workers, but it does feel like that sort of game where any moment now a drone moves over, he takes a 4th base. Yeah, he's already looking for a 4th base at 5 minutes. This is sexy for DRG. This is such a beautiful opening. Oracles come in, now they're both in the orange for one more drone. Wow. Wow. Okay. Talk about shutting down the Protoss aggression. Double Forge opening with Blink. This is one of my least favorite openings for making a comeback. And it's not like MaxPax is way behind, but I do think that DRG is at least a little ahead. He's got momentum on his side. He's going straight Lair, Baneley Nest, melee. I wonder if he plays Hydras here. He might try to go straight to Hydra Bane. And Hydras will be really good for tearing down the wall-offs that Protoss players like to build on this map. What I'm really curious to find out is how quickly Storm comes in. But hey, no, MaxPax builds a Rotoran, so he's going to play Ravager Bane, sticking with what's worked for him so far, Will Dongrigu. MaxPax, oh, this is some good harass. The Lings just weren't quite in the right position, and they actually can't get a good surround there. So even though the Adepts are surrounded, okay, they do both go down, but here comes 3 Oracles. Uh-oh. Oh, finally getting a couple more worker kills, up to 7. I mean, still not amazing considering the investment in all these Oracles and Adepts. He's getting into Blinken +1. Double Forge is spotted. Does DRG answer with a second Evo chamber? Or does he just go even more aggressive when Bane Speed and Roach Speed are done? He'll definitely go to at least 70 workers. But we'll see what else he plans. The Lings looking maybe to poke in. Definitely should look to deny the 4th base. As long as he hangs around here, MaxPax can't build a 4th. And that's the biggest problem for MaxPax. The Lings pulling back is a bit of a mistake. Unfortunately, there's a drone accidentally got in there. That should be a free cancel right now. The sentries have some energy, but if he dives on that, there's only 1 Oracle there. It doesn't have a lot. DRG definitely should be punishing MaxPax for the fact that he's so far behind on the army count. But the Lings not going in. DRG playing surprisingly cautiously. Oracles come in, get 1 drone, pull back. That's a lot of energy going down in the Oracles, which means when push comes to shove, he will not be able to use these Oracles very well to defend. The creep is spreading through the middle of the map. DRG likes to tear these rocks down and get his queens right up there so they're supporting the battle. +2 melee on the way. Bane Speed and Roach Speed almost finished. The Lings run in. Oh, so oh man, MaxPax so out of position right now. The 4th base gets canceled. And is he just gonna, what is he doing down here? I think, is MaxPax, is he going for a push? What is this crazy move of MaxPax army down the bottom of the map? I mean, 6 more drones are on the way. This is a very weird push that he's going for. He's got a lot of force fields, and MaxPax, I mean, DRG has no Ravagers. DRG did not see this push coming. He thinks he's the one who's being aggressive. He starts morphing Ravagers now. Luckily for him, MaxPax doesn't see it, or he might have pounced on them. Those Ravagers with their biles to break force fields and the flanking power of this could be massive. Lings are back in on the top side, and here we go. Ravager Ling coming in. Those Ravagers are very exposed, but MaxPax doesn't know what's behind him. So 1 sentry goes down. The Lings trading with the Zealots. MaxPax does keep his 4th base alive. 1-1 upgrades are now finished, which is going to make these units way tankier versus the Zerglings. The Ravager count is growing, as is the Zergling count. Infestation put on the way. DRG also getting a range upgrade for these units. He's broken down 1 set of rocks. The Oracle's trying to slow down the creep spread. That sentry is toast. The Ling's happy to take that down. The Roach Ravager's going to go forward. You don't really want to chase into the shield batteries, but trading out here, not going to be the best for MaxPax, as that is an overwhelming number of Zerg units. Already Zealot run by on the top side, cancels the 5th base. MaxPax getting into his rhythm. If he can survive for a bit longer, these skirmishes are going to trade really well for him. Zerglings will not trade well versus Zealots against double upgrade styles. So DRG needs to be cautious about doing what he just did there. As the game goes on, especially when 2-2 is finished, Zerglings will get manhandled by Zealots, especially once 3-3's on the way. That'll be a turning point where even with Adrenal Glands, you can't really contest. DRG's going high if he's trying to rebuild a 5th on the south side. He does break down these rocks. He's going to try and push on forward. It is nothing but Blink Stalkers and well-upgraded Blink Stalkers. That Banelings are coming in. The Stalkers go for a bit of a spready. The battery overcharge is spectacular. And DRG there, I think, really foreshadowing that attack for a bit too long. MaxPax after that Baneling bust in the last game, you can tell he is gritting his teeth. He is determined to not give away another map. The 5th base here is going up in the north. Remember, 1 map loss in this game or the next, MaxPax is out of the entire tournament. This is the deciding match of Group D. MaxPax has a lot of Stalkers, but he has no splash damage. DRG's maxed out army will be better than his if he can fill it in with Baneling. But not having faith in that, DRG is starting to go for Hydra Den. He wants to go for the Hive and the Lurkers. Not a bad play, but he is getting knocked back to 4 bases once again. Ling Roach trying to deal with those Zealots. Baneling's on the mineral line. Well, they take out the battery and the cannon at least, which is something. They force the base to evacuate. The 5th base does survive, actually, for DRG. Cleans up these Zealots. Baneling's helping out. Could he try and retake a 6th on the left side as well? 3-3 upgrades have now started. MaxPax is dedicated to winning with mass gateway units, it seems. Zealot run-bys and Stalkers. And that definitely is something where with the right micro, you can make amazing things happen with Stalkers. But Zerglings do pack a big punch. The Oracles have to turn on their laser beams to hold that force back. DRG is building 5 Hydras. But he should... Wait, he's going Hydras? And Hydra upgrades? Okay, that is bizarre. Hydras will not do well versus Stalkers. The Stalkers are too tanky and they have way too far ahead on the upgrades. I think this is a big mistake for DRG. Lurkers have to be the play. But DRG, I told you guys earlier that he is a lair tech god. He loves to stay on those basic units. He could do it with Ling Bane Hydra. I just feel like the Stalkers are going to trade a little bit too well against him as the Ling Bane peters out. And you know what? He doesn't have unlimited money. A few of these Ravagers are getting caught out here. 2 Ravagers will go down. The Oracles use up the last of their energy. Mass Lings on the north side, getting a good little surround, but with the battery there and the army nearby, DRG forced to disengage. MaxPax desperate for a 5th base. He's building on the right side of the map. If he can't get that 5th up, he'll get starved out here, and that is a very real threat. Finally, the Lurker Den is down, but I've got to question that there is such an investment in Hydras and double Hydra upgrades when going straight to Lurkers has to be the better play, in my opinion. Well, at least it'll deal with the Oracles, and they will definitely give some ranged fire support from the back. And MaxPax, he's not really able to drown his opponent because he has no Warp Prism. He can't get Zealots in the main base. He's got a gigantic army of Stalkers, but it's all about positioning. Massling, Baneling rolling in the top. Unfortunately, the Banelings hit the Stalkers. That being said, he's got Adrenal and +2 melee, +1 Carapace versus 2/2. So the Zerglings, at this point, before 3/3's done, it's going to be a pretty good fight for those Zerglings. The Ravager Hydra's trying to hold. DRG's got to pull back. He's got to pull back. But the Ravagers are really not worth their weight in supply, and he needs the Zerglings tanking for them. It looks like DRG's 5th base is going to go down. MaxPax getting a 5th base up behind it. The Hydras and Ravagers are falling. Ling's coming in from behind, though. The Stalkers may have stepped too deep on creep. They get the 5th base snipe, but so many of MaxPax units are going down. He's starting to blink back. The Zealots coming in as well. +3 attack kicks in. +3 armor's on the way. He's got battery overcharge, and that will allow him to hold his ground. Zealots on the north come in. Oh, no! Dongre-gu needs to keep this hatchery alive. He's trying to go Lurkers, but notice he's out of money. This is what I'm talking about with the Hydra investment. He's going to be starved for money in these next few minutes. And I mean, the Hydras, they did some damage for sure. But now MaxPax is the one with a healthy 5th base. DRG does not have a drone transfer out there yet. He's down on workers. The Lurkers are amazing. They do have the range upgrade as well. I don't think MaxPax can break this sort of situation. He's still got the mobility advantage, though. So if MaxPax can run circles around him and start backstabbing, he might be able to pick apart the fact that Dongre-gu is mostly on Hydras, Lurkers, and Ravagers. He doesn't have as big of a Zergling count. And if the Zerglings run into Archons, they're not going to do very well either way. Mass attack on the north side, out-positioning MaxPax. Now, this could be a trap. MaxPax might be able to fall in and surround this army, but he burrows the Lurkers. There's no detection there just yet. The Oracle does come in. The Zealots and the Archons have already gone down. The Stalkers funneling into the Roach Hydra Lurker. Lurker splash damage is absolutely deadly, but he hasn't got on top of the probes just yet. Just starting to work on the gateways. Lurkers coming in the right side along with the Lings and the Ravagers. The Archons, Zealots, and an Observer coming forward, but dude, there's just not enough firepower for MaxPax, and Dongre-gu swinging the mighty fist of Zerg. His early game may have been one of the most perfect early games in PvZ that I have seen in a long time. This was such a sick early defense of the Adepts and the Oracles. He took almost no damage, built barely any defensive units, and MaxPax finally does get on top of that. He defends both bases. I don't know how he defends both bases. He does. Dongre-gu with a misrally. Hydra's going into their death. He's got to be careful about that. He's way up in supply, but MaxPax has the 5th base up. DRG now has workers on his 5th base. Definitely want to see him keep transferring these drones. He must be oversaturated. There we go. Big drone transfer to the 6th base on the right as well. +3 range attack is coming in. Immortals have started to join the fray for MaxPax. MaxPax is not dead yet. He's just in a fragile position where with Mass Lurker and him not having a high Immortal count, no disruptors, it feels very awkward. If he had some Storm to deal with the supporting units as well, that would really make me feel better about his position. Archon Immortal comes in. Oh, that's a lot of Lurkers. But wait, the Immortal is so good versus the Lurkers. Oh man, the +3 Immortal doing 65 damage a shot. The Lurkers are actually getting gunned down, but the Observer gets sniped. DRG runs the Spore Crawler in. There is another Observer here, though. DRG goes for a counterattack. Even though his 5th is in trouble, he jumps on MaxPax's 3rd base and says, no, 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 naughty boy. You might have killed my 6th base. I'm going to kill your 3rd base. Your 4th base is now isolated. I'm in between your economy and your army. Come and fight into my siege units. And that is obviously not something MaxPax wants to do. He's got a lot of Zealots, but he's lost his Immortals. He's only got 1 of those left. He's got 3 Archons. He wants to do a bit of a Zealot backstab. He wants to keep avoiding fighting the central army of DRG. And DRG realizing, okay, don't want to get caught out here. Time to pull away. The Stalkers blink forward. They almost get a Lurker, but not quite. 3-1 versus 3-3. Adrenal glands and the numbers making it a good fight, though, for DRG. 7 more Lurkers morphing. He's going to 18 Lurkers, 14 Hydras, and 56 Zerglings. MaxPax on mostly Zealot Archon. It's not a good feeling to be in Max's shoes right now. He has to somehow find a perfect engagement, but he doesn't have the tools to make that happen. What he would give an arm and a leg to have a pair of disruptors right now, to have some carriers, anything that could give him an edge. But wait, he finds a fight on the Lurkers on the bottom. He takes out a lot of them. He's got to kill that Spore Crawler so he can bring his Observer forward. The Lurkers do push him back. Dongregu's still got the 6th up. Trying to take a 7th in the far top left here. His army's not very mobile, and he's building 13 more Hydras while making +2 carapace. MaxPax, he's doing such a good job of fighting with his shit army. He's going to go for it. The Zealot Archon Immortal tries to come in. It's a lot of Lurkers, though, and he just doesn't quite have the numbers. It was a bit of a gamble there from MaxPax, and it does not pay off. He thought, oh, I think I just barely have enough. If he had a flank of Zealots coming in from, say, a Prism on the north or something, it would have worked, because it would have pulled the splash damage away and basically diffused the attack damage of the Lurkers. But whenever you attack into that many Lurkers from one angle, their splash damage stacks on top of each other, and your army just disappears. Damn, dude. The Lurker Hydra on the right side is also got the Watchtower. MaxPax, he's going to try and break it. Does he finally have the numbers to do so? It looks like he should do. But a quick unburrow there, and actually 5 of the Lurkers will pull back and survive. DRG is up 60 supply right now. His income is way higher, about 800 minerals and 600 gas more a minute. MaxPax, he's just trying to survive. He's trying to rebuild the 3rd, but DRG is already on top of it. A scrappy handful of units stumble into the Lurker trap. Oh no, DRG annihilating that army in style. And I gotta say, that early game, that setup was spectacular. DRG just not letting MaxPax get a 5th base in the follow-up to that, crushing through and claiming that 2nd place spot in the group with an upset.